Welcome to Beyond Tradition podcast, where we get into the nitty gritty of entrepreneurship. Really talking about the topics that are uncomfortable, that are hard.
Mhm.
This is Therese.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Shelby. This one we've kind of talked about a little bit before in previous episodes. By the way, if you've not watched previous episodes, we really highly suggest you start from the beginning. Because we're kind of building as we go. And like some are going to be standalone episodes, but in this case, we're talking about, again, defining the roles within the household and within businesses. So this is really applicable, and more so for those for those people who have partners, whether they're working outside of the home, whether you're building the business together and running the house together, um, and really talking about more in depth about the language that we use and the way we go about defining these things, just because you and I both know
What do we know?
if these things are not addressed and if we feel like we're carrying the majority of the burden, then resentment will build. The end.
Yeah.
Or we will burn out. That's the other thing.
Yes.
So one of my big things that I've noticed, especially amongst my friends, I think I'm an elder millennial technically, but definitely a millennial. And we now
I hate being in this category, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry. We, societally speaking, we live in a patriarchy. You can deny that all you want. You can say that we don't. We do. We have. Sorry.
Just throwing that out there.
Sorry, we're in a patriarchy.
Go back and watch our
Yes,
beginning episodes.
Exactly.
We went back and forth about this. We're not doing that today.
We're not going to do that today. But if women had been equal from the very beginning, we would not be having these conversations. Unfortunately, we were treated as property. We didn't have equal rights. We couldn't vote. We couldn't have businesses. We didn't have the same financial freedom as men until 50 years ago. I mean, obviously, right to vote was the 20s, but you think about the Equal Opportunity Act was the 70s. So we are now in an era where we are reaching equality, but a lot of those systemic and underlying gender tones are still there. I mean, we are still battling to a degree. And so what I've seen, we've made leaps and bounds progress wise. Like, obviously now we can own businesses. You and I are great examples of that, right? We can have our financial freedom.
Yes.
But what we're seeing and what I'm seeing, and that all of my friends will echo that are around our age, is that we were raised. I know my grandpa or grandma said it. My dad said it. You do not rely on a man. A man is not a plan. You get your degree.
A man is not a plan.
A man is not a plan.
I like that. Because our moms grew up in the 70s.
Yeah.
So they were like in the movement.
And think about our grandmas, like our grandmothers had to rely on men for their finances, for their livelihood. And they stayed in a lot of not so great relationships because they had to. They couldn't survive outside of them, which sucks. Now, I'm not saying that there weren't wonderful men back then that did the right thing, were,
there were plenty of them, for sure.
And they were in love and this, that, and the other. But I can say on the other end of that spectrum, both of my grandparents, my grandpas were cheaters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my grandma's dealt with abuse.
That sucks.
All kinds. And financial abuse is still a thing.
Yeah.
That happens. We are not saying that this does not happen to men either.
No, it goes both ways.
We are very aware that financial abuse and other things happen
100%.
on both spectrums, but we are going to speak to more of the broader, specific, like systemic, societal issues we still face. So as a millennial woman, again, I was taught that you get your degree, you have your own job, you make sure that you can survive if something happens.
Yeah. I think we were all taught that.
Yes.
College was jammed down all of our throats.
It was. But the flip side of that is we watched our mothers and our grandmothers still take care of the household, still take care of the kids. It was still very much the men work, the women household, right? Household and kids.
Yeah.
Very, very much. My dad did the outside work.
Yeah.
which had to happen like once a week, and then mom handled all the inside, right?
Yeah.
And that's still a prevalent dynamic that happens. And so now we've got women our age who are keeping up earnings wise with our partners or
Or making more. I know
breadwinning,
I
right?
know a few women. Yeah. Some of
But
my friends are breadwinners in their house. And there's
exactly.
nothing, again,
No,
that's fine.
different.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The key is like equitable division of the household tasks.
Yes.
No, I didn't say equal. I said equitable. So I think equitable needs to be some of the terminology that we talk about too.
Yeah, because equals hard. Equals hard
Yeah.
to, you know,
50-50 stupid.
yeah, it's if you have a little bit more time on your, you know what I mean?
Right.
And there's ebbs and flows of owning a business. Sometimes you guys know, like I know
Right.
there were times you're putting in 15-hour days and then
it
other
sucks.
weeks, you know, or other days you only have to do 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it all, yeah, everything has to ebb and flow and you have to be flexible.
That's
But
exactly.
again, but clear communication,
yeah.
setting expectations, you know, having flexibility with all of it, I think is huge.
Yeah.
So,
And I think the big key too is that, again, we were raised work, career, education. But a lot of the men our age and maybe a little bit older still had mothers that did everything for them. So they were never really active participants in the households because mom did everything. Mom, grocery, all of the meals,
yeah.
all of the laundry, all of the household cleaning. So it's creating now this dynamic where we are naturally falling into this role of, I'm going to call it a household engineer because there's not another word for it. You're a household engineer or you're a project manager.
Yeah.
Because when you think about everything that goes into a household and kids, especially, it's a huge mental load. And what really like gave me the words, the verbiage, because you obviously get overwhelmed. You have this resentment building because everything begins to be mom's, like,
Yeah.
mom handles this.
Mhm.
Mom, why is this not done? Well, you know,
Oh,
eventually,
yeah, for sure. Yes.
We've all dealt with that in our
Uh-huh.
lives, I'm sure.
Yes. If you've been married and you have kids.
Yeah, and you've lived together.
Or if you've lived with somebody, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Everything
Even a
starts.
responsibility of an animal, a dog or a cat, you know what I
Right,
mean?
you
Like
know.
it's
Yeah. And the key is to not let that resentment happen, but that has to be like clear communication.
Yeah, 100%.
And-
And again, setting the expectations up front.
Up
You
front.
know, you have to, when you meet somebody and again, things change as you
Mhm.
grow, as you have kids,
Right.
as you move, as you build a business, as you change career paths, you know,
Yeah.
like every time there's a big movement within your household, there should be a new conversation, new
Mhm.
expectations, new just ground rules, whatever you want to
Right.
call them. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that way everyone's always on the same page. So you don't let that resentment build
Exactly.
because that's what tears a lot of
yeah.
people apart.
I will be honest, a lot of this language now and like defining these terms has been newer for me. Like, Trevor and I have been together since, again, we moved in together when I was 19. He was 21. So
Crazy, man.
literally nuts. But
Babies.
like, I obviously didn't know this stuff back then,
No,
but
of
I still
course.
felt these feelings. So
Yeah.
what really TikTok, thanks. But but also I learned there's actually a really great resource that I will always recommend for couples is called Fair Play. And Fair Play, I think, let me double check, but it's Eve Brodsky.
Okay.
And it's a book, but there's also a film or a video. I believe it's on Hulu and YouTube as well.
Okay.
You don't have to do the book if you don't want to. Watching it really gets into like, again, traditional gender roles, how the traditional gender roles that we were raised with, our grandmas, our moms were raised with, they really lead to an unequal division of domestic tasks with women bearing the majority of the burden. So obviously we're getting out of that. We're moving in the right direction. But part of these things and what really like motivates me for this podcast is giving the language.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that I learned is the mental load. Like the mental load. Because you have to understand, like in my day, like in my head on any given day, I'm thinking about what needs to be cleaned. What does Kason need? When do, doctor's appointments? I do car maintenance, like I just
Mhm.
ordered my tires and scheduled my appointment.
Yeah.
And what do we need for the business? What do we need? What bills do I need to pay?
Mhm.
Where are our savings at? Like the mental, and then
Oh,
dinner
what are you
again.
eating?
Ugh,
Exactly.
again,
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner
breakfast, lunch, and
snacks.
dinner,
Mhm.
groceries, lists,
Oh, yeah.
all of it. And the mental load is huge. And I love, love, love this resource because it talks about, and there's a game with it,
Fun.
card system with it
Okay.
that says like whoever holds this card takes on this task from conception to completion.
Ooh.
And what is that like? So like when I say that, what does that mean to you? Like, what do you think?
For me, I'm thinking because I loathe cooking
Yes.
at this point in
Same.
life. I don't enjoy it. It's not for me. Like we've mentioned, I think every episode, I cannot wait to have a personal chef live in. I'm going to just bribe, I'm going to pay them lots of money to live with me. So anytime I'm hungry,
Right.
they don't have to do anything else. Just provide snacks and food. That's it.
Yes.
And that I don't have to think about. So for me, that would mean you plan every single meal. You go shop for every single meal.
Yes.
You come home, you prep for every single meal, you cook every meal, you package up
Yeah.
every meal, then you clean everything up.
Yeah.
And that's start to completion for
Yes.
me.
And then I'll add to that too.
Yeah.
As you're meal planning, you're also considering what do you have in the pantry? What do you have in
Just
the
tap
fridge? That does not count.
I've counted it. One.
I hit the mic, guys.
All right.
Again, my hands. But yeah, you're considering what do we have in the pantry?
Mhm.
What do we have in the fridge? What do we have in the freezer?
Yeah, 100%.
What aversions do we have? Because we all have things we won't
Oh my
eat.
gosh, yes.
Come on now.
I'm so picky. I'm the worst.
Listen, and then like what allergies do we
Oh,
have? Do
goodness.
we have a special diet going on right
Mhm.
now?
Yeah.
And to even add one more thing to that, is our food system trying to kill us? So like, what
Oh
is-
Lord, I'm
what
not
is in
even
the
touching
food?
that. Yeah. I mean, we both know I am absolutely on the verge of crazy about this, but it is
Yeah.
disgusting the
Right.
amount of chemicals that are in all of
And-
our food. It's
right.
it's mind blowing.
Right.
Yeah.
So like when we're talking about the mental load of that one task, those are all the consideration and brain power that you're using just for dinner, just for food, just for that grocery
That's a
list.
job in its
right?
of its own, honestly.
Literally.
I mean that, and then the household maintenance.
Mhm.
I think I touched on this before, but I again I have to throw it out there. There are some women that want to be household managers. They want to
Happy.
be stay-at-homes. Good for you. It is the toughest job
Yep.
I have ever done in
Mhm.
my life for a very short period of time.
And you should be compensated accordingly.
Yeah, you should be compensated. You should have days off like everybody, and no, not just an hour to go to Target by yourself. Like,
Literally
sorry, that's not a day off. You need a moment to yourself. You need
going to take
breaks.
a shower.
Yeah, that's not
Not a break.
no, that's not a break.
That is you taking
That's a
care of
smoke
yourself.
break. That's a
Right,
smoke break.
literally, like that's not
It's a 15-minute
That's not
union
a
break right there.
favor.
Exactly.
Right.
That's not a real
day off.
a
No.
day off. And I think and I think that's the hardest part about being a stay. But I have a few friends that absolutely love it and they wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah,
But
love that. for
they
them.
enjoy, like, that is their job. Like,
Mhm.
they act like it's not. And I always have to, I'm like, you're managing an entire house. You know
Mhm,
what I mean?
mhm.
It's not like it's just you. Like, when you're by yourself, sure. Like,
Yeah.
it's easy.
Yeah,
You know, you
Right?
could just go buy,
Yeah.
get what you, but when you have to take in other people and others, like your spouse's schedules, your
What's
kids'
our budget?
schedules. Yeah. What's on the budget? What can this person eat? So,
yeah.
yes.
And so
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
that
And
And-
then when kids start playing sports and have
Ugh.
after school activities and all
Ugh.
of these things, and then you've become the Uber and you're driving around. And
gosh.
so
I wish there was a
Yes.
safe kid Uber. I think there is one around here, but I will never. So.
No, could you imagine?
But I just wish we had a.
When I retire in a couple of years, I'm just gonna get a little short bus and just be like, "What's
Love
up?"
that.
Like,
Yeah. And so that's kind of the thing. Like, I'm very much against. But let me tell you, like, these again were not things that Trevor and I, either one, knew how to talk about, understood from the other person. And what makes me now more than ever is, oh, just give me a list. Who is making my list? Why am I the list maker, and why are you not a functioning adult?
That is a wonderful, again.
So, and again, that's societal programming. That's
Yeah,
how our brains,
it is.
right?
It's yeah. I
But-
mean, you guys were babies when you got married.
Mhm.
I don't go into a lot about my personal life, and I won't,
Yeah.
know, but I am divorced.
Right.
And so we did talk about expectations and when somebody decides to change,
Mhm.
Yeah, halfway through,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean? It's either
Right.
I had to adjust or it was,
You
no,
either-
this isn't working. You
Right.
know what I mean?
It's accepted,
Because,
or.
yeah, because you can't literally do a 180 and
Right.
then all of a sudden decide, like,
Oh,
I'm
by
not,
the way.
yeah, exactly.
Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. So that's as far as I'm going into that. It's not, yeah.
But it's true.
It's not
Like, it's
anything
hard
negative.
to, like,
People change and grow, and
I mean,
it happens, but
yeah.
there's certain things, clear communication is definitely, and being flexible is one thing, but
Listening to your partner.
mhm,
That's the key, and hearing the partner, because you have to understand that you're living life through your lens and through the societal kind of roles that we have. Like, I understand most men are not going to understand our point because they've not lived life as a woman, just like we don't understand a lot of men's things because we
but they
don't-
still lived on their own, or they still had to do their own laundry. They still had to
Right.
like go grocery shop, or maybe they
Yes.
didn't. I mean, you and Trevor moved in as babies, so maybe
Right.
you guys didn't. Maybe he came straight from mom to you,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean, and
He's
didn't.
really great. I will
Yeah,
say,
like,
I was toxic. When I was like, I wasn't taught really healthy communicating.
yeah,
And there were times when, I'm working 40 hours a week. We have a kid. We have a house. I'm cooking dinner. I'm doing the grocery shopping. I'm paying our bills. I'm making sure everything's taken care of. And the one thing that I would ask is, like, if I'm cooking, you do the dishes.
yeah,
And of
that's fair.
course, yes, but you need to define, like, what you're both okay with and compromise with, because
Yeah.
there are times where it tends to be women are very critical of how they do certain things or how they expect things to be done. So there needs to be, like, kind of a mutual understanding of, like, this is what I can handle and this is what you can handle. But I got so fed up because I kept having to do the dishes. After doing all of that, I kept having to do that. Was the one thing that I said. Just do the dishes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell on him. He was not good at that. He would do them once a week. And that would get on my nerves.
Yeah.
But so then there were times that I caught myself just doing it so that it was done.
Yes.
And that's when I would get resentful. And I
Oh,
can
yeah.
I can tell you there were multiple times where I just didn't do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And gross. But
Yeah.
our dishes piled up through the sink was full.
Yeah.
The counters were full.
Mm-hmm.
Every single pan, plate, silverware, cup was dirty. We
Oh
had-
my gosh.
No. And that was my form of protest, because
Yeah.
I'm an asshole, I guess. But also, like, I was done I
Yeah.
had reached my limit with
Mhm.
it. It was horseshit that I was doing all of it.
Yeah.
I was resentful. That's very toxic. I should have communicated it better. But also, I stopped cooking dinner, and I just announced, I said, I'm not cooking dinner. Y'all can figure out what you're going to eat, but I'm not doing this unless these dishes are done.
Good.
It worked.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it worked. 100% it worked.
So I'm not saying that's the avenue or the route to take, but, like,
No, but sometimes it's a good,
yeah,
a wake up. See, dishes don't bother me.
yeah, I
That's
hate 'em.
yeah, that doesn't. I don't mind doing laundry. It's putting it away. I'll fold it all up.
Same. You and
I
are the same.
I will do all of it. And I know like my friends, like, they're cute, and they don't mean anything. They love their husbands more than anything.
Yeah.
They're just like, he just doesn't fold the towels right.
Oh,
and I'm like, excuse me. There's no wrong way to
There's
fold
no
a towel.
wrong way. That's
I
been
am
a fight
so
with us,
sorry.
too.
Like, it's one of those, there's zero wrong way to fold a towel.
Yeah.
I don't care. You can literally roll it up
Don't
as
care.
long as it fits in the pantry.
I don't
I
care.
am a happy camper because I didn't have to do it.
You and I are the same on that.
Like that's the one thing. It kills me. Like one of my best friends, and I'm just like, babe. I'm like,
It doesn't
who cares?
matter. Right.
I'm like, it's
Let it
done.
go.
It's done. You don't have to worry about it. The task is done. They're clean towels.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like
Dude, who
literally.
cares? Okay, so now I will say
I
too,
mean-
I haven't done Trevor's laundry in years and years.
I think that's the smartest route. I've noticed couples
Mhm.
that do, and this is, living life.
Yeah.
Couples that do their own laundry each seem to be happier than
Yeah.
when it's one person's
Mhm.
responsibility.
And he and I both, we kind of go, again, flexibility, ebb and
Mhm.
flows. There are times when I live out of my laundry basket for weeks. It is what
Workout
it is.
clothes are working. Yeah, okay.
Right, it
We're
is
not
what it
getting
is.
into our.
No, there are times when Trevor lives out of his basket.
We need
for
house
weeks.
managers.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
there are times when he and I are both on the spot. All of our laundry's done.
Yeah.
It's put up where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So giving
Oh,
each other
that's cute.
that.
That happens.
It does.
I'm proud of you
We're
guys.
close now.
I'm really proud of you.
But exactly. He was starting to do my laundry,
That's
which was very
amazing.
sweet. Yes, but
no,
he kept ruining my whites.
no,
No, because
that's
he
fine.
doesn't separate.
Yeah,
Hell no, it is not
it
fine.
is fine.
It's not.
I will take that any ruin the 3 white t-shirts I have. Get
no.
it.
Oh, listen. Well, and that was the thing. He wouldn't wash delicate. Like I had clothes because I was working in corporate. So like,
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
he was ruining my clothes.
Fine.
And
fine.
I was like, you cannot throw all of these in just one. You'll look, no, just don't touch my stuff.
Yeah.
Please.
See, I feel like most couples is split. It's because one is in corporate where they need their clothes nice. And then
Mhm.
there's one that's like, I'm going to throw on a sweater, some jeans, and go to a meeting. Like, we're
Exactly.
golden. You know what I mean? Like, see you
Right.
later.
So that's where, and now too, if I get overwhelmed, and I did find this service because, during my hospital and all of the,
Yeah.
I was on the bed,
stuff.
in the bed for months, most recently until about, what was that? April, May.
Yeah.
There's apps now, and they will come get your laundry. They pick it
just
up at
touched
your
the
front
mic.
door.
My nail literally grazed it.
See, I'm nice, but I didn't even notice. But
I'm
We're
being
tied again.
honest. I'm
We're
being
tied
honest.
again.
Fine.
yeah, they come pick it up, and they take it, and you get it back the next day, and it is folded and organized and wrapped in little ribbons. So all you have to do is take it, like all my t-shirts,
I need to try this. I know you sent me.
Oh my
You
God.
sent me the
Listen.
stuff. I know.
$23 to do my laundry, plus a tip. And I will say I tip my lady really well because I feel like you should be paid $20 to do my freaking laundry. So
Because it's an hour worth of work. Think
Right.
about it. But how does that cover gas and stuff to get back
Exactly.
and forth to you?
which is why I tip them well.
Yeah.
But
How are they making money?
yeah, I don't know. It's Poplin. But there's other ones out there.
Okay.
But I will say that's part of like delegating and outsourcing as you kind of move through things.
yeah. for sure. And
I'm-
if you can't, then you have to just delegate them within your household and you just
Mhm.
make a list of all the stuff you really hate.
Yeah.
Like, I'll wash the clothes, I'll fold them, and
Yeah.
it's your turn. You put them away. That's it.
to be quite honest,
You know?
Kason is our dishwasher guy. He's
Yeah.
our unloader.
He should be. He's at that
Yes.
age. He's,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's at the age where he can definitely start helping out
Oh, yeah.
more around the house,
Yeah.
you know?
He's like required to keep
'Cause
his.
that's like the craziest thing.
house.
Like when you,
Yeah.
I remember like going to college and meeting, like never have done laundry
in their
life.
lives.
And I was just like, you've never touched a laundry machine? But I can't talk because I mean, I did laundry, but then I remember the first time I went to a laundromat.
Oh, that's an experience.
Yeah, it's I was just like, I was so overwhelmed. I was like, what am I doing? And then I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
we have to sit with it.
now. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So now,
I don't miss those days.
Yeah.
Thanks,
he has
Miami.
To, yeah. He has to keep his room clean. He has to keep his trash put up. He will unload my dishwasher and walk the dogs. And now too, with his laundry, I've told him if you need your clothes washed, you have to bring them out to me.
Yeah, just drop them in front of the washing
Yeah.
machine.
And now he's learning too how to start the washer and all of that. He actually started a load
Do you
the
use
other day.
pods? Because he could just, you should make it
No.
easy for him and just be like, pod,
Yeah.
close, press start.
Well, we have a standard, like we have a very cheap, because we're in that apartment right now.
Oh, yeah.
We have a very cheap, and so you have to like
Is it a
start
stacker?
No.
Okay, that's nice.
But it doesn't have the little tray where you put your liquid soap in.
Oh, so you just dump it around?
So you have to start it, let the water get in, then put your detergent in, and then put your Downy ball in, and
oh gosh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So in that case,
Isn't
I'm
it
like,
funny how we're spoiled nowadays?
yeah, I can't wait to get back to mine.
I know,
right?
as life goes on, I'm like, how dare I have to put detergent in the machine?
Right, and wait for it to fill up. Come on.
So good.
So yeah, in this episode, like again, we really want to just nail down fair play, great resource.
Yeah. Yes.
Clear communication, mutual agreement, taking tasks, and having that conversation. Like, and it can be like, okay, this week I've got dinners all week. Next week you get dinners all week. Right.
Yes. My one friend, her and her husband has figured it out. They swap every other day. And it works for them.
Right.
Happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just happy household. And there's the expectations there. So like because they both work full time.
Right.
And, so like her days that she gets to come home and she just, she'll go do homework with the girls.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? She'll go do those types of things where, and then the next night, so they flip back and forth the responsibilities, which.
And every situation is different.
Oh, for
of
sure.
course, if you're home and you guys have had the conversation, that was number 2. I just said it. But the key is still having that conversation like, okay, I'm staying at home. These are the things that I'm going to handle. And these are the things that just because he's out working 40 hours a week too, or you're out working 40 hours a week too, doesn't mean that you don't contribute to the household at all. Right.
No, that's I don't know where that weird
woman's
I get it.
work.
We've all come home tired. You know what I mean? But like, I used to live on 4 acres and I liked mowing the yard.
Me too.
You know what I
love
mean?
Mowing the yard.
Exactly. I'll be like, I'll switch with you any day of the week.
Any day of the week.
You go cook. I'll go take care of
handle dinner.
I'll take care of the outside stuff.
Outside, that's once a week. Shut up.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I'll go clean the pool. It's fine.
I've even argued with my brother about this because he's like, well, no, it's just that you guys have different standards. But I said, but let's think about that. That's because we were not able to have jobs and we were not able to live outside of having a man with us. And so our job and our pride and everything came from how well we ran that household. And how clean it was. Like that was the standards that were set in the 50s and 60s and 70s and all of that.
I think maybe his standards, see, when you said that, my standards went a different way where standards like folding the towels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because there are
yes.
some women that like, I know they're like crazy about it. And I'm just like.
I mean, like, think about it.
Yeah.
You're having a party at your house. Your friends come over.
No fucks given.
No,
go in that pantry.
No. Let me finish. Your house is dirty.
No, okay.
What are your friends gonna say? Who's gonna be judged harder for your house being dirty and not taken care of?
Us.
The women.
Typically the woman. Yes. Depending if you don't know that person's situation.
Yes.
For sure.
Obviously.
Yes.
But that's my point. It's societally, we have been programmed. That has been our job. That is our pride. That is why our standards are higher because we are judged harder for our stuff, for how our house looks.
True.
And you can deny that all you want, but that's
no. I don't. Yeah.
Not you.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not. You want to fight?
Yeah.
No, but like, just think about it. Like, that's why women's standards of clean and are higher.
Yes. I agree.
You and I both. I don't care either. Like, come over to my dirty house.
I know. See, I'm weird. Like,
judge me all you want. I don't care.
My house is like sanitized clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's stuff around.
Yeah.
But like for me, like if you went into my linen closet and you were like, what happened? I'd be like, just get a hand towel. Like what?
Shut up.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like enough.
Right. You and I are not afraid of judgment.
But I think also like when a guy says something like that, and we'll go back to your brother, I feel like it's also like an excuse not to have to do something or to not even have to try.
Weaponized incompetence.
Yeah, exactly. And yes.
Weaponized incompetence.
Yeah, where it's like I've met extremely, extremely smart men and you don't know how to turn on the dishwasher.
You're lying.
Like you don't like
you're lying.
You can't put cups in it.
That's
I'm so sorry. Like I don't even
right.
care. You could put 3 cups in there. Turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
Turn it off. Don't care.
Right.
Okay. I'm trying not to curse. So do not care. turn it on.
Yeah.
Put 3 forks in there and turn it on. I don't care.
And they'll
Just
do that.
it.
But that's the other part is they'll do tasks wrong or
yes, we'll be
that we take them over and just do it
Mhm.
do it ourselves. And that again, that
Unfortunately.
is literally called weaponized incompetence. Again, toxic Shelby will utilize that.
I never have, but it's been utilized against me, and I didn't know what it was. It took me a long time, and for someone else to explain to me what that was, because I'm like, I don't understand how someone could be so extremely smart.
I don't know.
But then all of a sudden can't figure out how to move wet clothes into a dryer.
I don't think that they're like there's a lot of it's not malicious, right? But it's just how society again has kind of like programmed them to not think like that. And
I hope it's not malicious. I don't believe that, unfortunately.
Sometimes it is malicious.
Yeah, I think
I again will fully admit to being malicious, because when I have asked to have this bookcase hung or like done a shelf done, then I go get the drill.
Oh yeah.
Like, and as soon as Trev hears that, because he knows I'm gonna hang it crooked, he's in here doing it, and I'm like, that's all I gotta do.
Yeah. Okay. I know a lot of women that do that.
Yes, of course. Okay.
Yeah. There's like me. There's like on Instagram, you know, or whatever. There's just see like a woman walking with the ladder, and then the husband's just like, no, please, not today.
Please,
yeah.
But, so that's I'm. But I will admit to it and laugh at it and tell him that it's just what I did to him. So
yeah, but at least, that's again communication. So at least you're like, I knew you weren't going to do it otherwise. So
right.
Yeah. So at least that, but I think if you were using it against him in a actual toxic way,
right,
that's a different story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So again, this episode wrapping up, clear communication, setting expectations, mutually agreed upon standards of clean.
Yeah. Being flexible, listen to your partner. You know what I mean? If they really don't like to do something, and if you really don't like to do something, then it's time to outsource it.
Right. Time to delegate,
you know?
time to outsource.
Exactly.
This even
rock,
goes,
paper, scissors.
And applies to your business.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Especially if you're doing it together. But as an entrepreneur, same thing. Delegate, outsource. Fair play. Again, highly recommend Fair Play.
I'm going to look into it. That's fun.
Yeah. Watch it. It's like, I don't know, hour of your time. Watch it.
Whole hour. Whew, I know. Asking too much.
Read a book. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. I guess that wraps up this one.
Yep.
Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Like, subscribe, follow us. We're on all the platforms, all the stuff, and we will see you next time.
Yep.
Bye. Bye.